Hello guys, welcome back. I want to build some shorts on Nasdaq and S&P on the idea that they will drop down even more to these imbalances left out at the open of the session. Haven't been really at the charts lately. We can see 50 MA. If they're going to drop, they like to retrace back to the 50 MA. Now we can see that they are kind of rejecting it. You can see negative delta. Now we see a drop, and I will expect them to drop down to these imbalances. Maybe it will maybe take them some time. Drop, retrace, but yeah, that's the general idea of this trade. I'm using 1 micro on Nasdaq. I don't want to increase my size. We can see how volatile this session has been. I mean, it's been a 300-point move in like 27 minutes. You already know that it's crazy. I can see they're moving up and down very quickly. Gotta be careful with my trades when they're in profits. They could drop around a bit. I'm gonna pay attention to the DOM on the S&P, pay attention to the DOM on the Nasdaq. Do you see those drops down from the same point? So someone is here, now we see a drop. There is a sharp drop. Yeah, let's see what we can do with this trade. We are currently at the VWAP on S&P and Nasdaq, which is quite interesting. We can see how they push down below it, they push up above it. Need to see some sellers coming in on S&P. Need to see absorption happening. Need to, of course, see sellers coming in. 140 comes in, they drop down, but then they push up. You can see how you can't really focus or pay attention to those big market sell orders coming in. The only thing you want to pay attention to is just the speed. How easily they move up versus how easily they move down. You have to focus on the way price moves on the DOM and on the candlestick charts. You can't really focus on the big market sell or buy orders coming in. They'll just get ran through. So yeah, that's the idea. That's usually how you want to trade the opens anyways. And these volatile times. And of course use less size. Pay yourself when you're able to. Accept where they can go before they go to where you want them to. And yeah, keep the risk tight. Because it can go against you very quickly. You can just burn money very fast. The number one rule in trading is to protect your profits. Protect the package. I can see there is much more offers than the bids, which means they're happily selling as price is moving up. And they would need a bunch more sell contracts or buy contracts to come in and hit into the offers to push price up. So the market makers see that and they will most likely then drop down. And retail traders are also more likely to sell as well. So the general trend is to the downside still. This is a drop, retrace. We are expecting another drop. These drops down happen very, very fast. You can see how they dropped. So we'll expect the same thing. Let's see how this trade goes for us. We can see from the time I entered my trade, we are still at my entry point. So we haven't really moved up or down. So I'm still good to hold the trade. No reason to get out. Just pay attention to how they move price. This is also a zone where they spend the most amount of time. You can see the point of control is here as well, which means that's a place where the most amount of contracts were transacted. You can see how fast price is moving right now compared to the previous candles. Just pay attention to how they move price. This is a very interesting zone. They like this zone. Drop down. You can see some 3-digit buyers coming in, but price dropped anyways, which is good. That's a quick drop. That's nice. Look at the negative delta. That's a big Market sell that came in. You can see a lack of buying coming in as well. But they did push up. So we still gotta be careful. That's a quick drop. Focus on the sellers coming in. That's a lot of selling on Nasdaq. So I will still hold the trade. They're still dropping. You can see they moved away from the point of control. Looks like we are resuming that trend to the downside. But we still have a long way to go to these lows. You know, anything can happen. Who knows, maybe I will even change direction throughout this trade if I see it fit, you know. I never have a static bias, never have a fixed bias. You always have to be flexible, especially if you're trading the depth of market and the order flow. You have to be flexible. You have to know what you're looking for. If I see more confirmations that a trade will go against me, which means it will go up, then I'll of course close the trade. You see that big bid that was there, 169, and then it got price dropped immediately down to it, and it got transacted on, which is good. And now they're continuing to drop. So as I said, I'm still seeing confirmations to hold the trade, so I will. But yeah, you always have to be flexible. Drops down again. There's the drop, nice. You can see how they're dropping aggressively. They're just hitting the bids. Below the VWAP on S&P. I'm close to the value area lows. A lot of contracts were transacted at this point. You can see 2,500. That's an area of interest that I will pay close attention to. 130, 122. Still 3-digit selling happening on Nasdaq, and they're still dropping. Again, you can see a big bid that they will go to transact. That's a big bid. Then they drop down anyways. Now they move up. So yeah, they've broken this low. Let's see what they do. They're trying their best to hold this point. And if not, it's gonna just splash down. Focus on the way how they move. 322, that's a big sell. Seeing some bars as well. Seems like they're coming away from this low that they swept. Now we're coming back up. Now we are coming back up. You can see some positive delta here building up on Nasdaq, where this 160 sell came in. I have no problem with holding this trade. Unless they break this 50 MA with speed. Drops down again. I will look to possibly add to my trade, to my sell, if I see it fit. If I see confirmations showing me that, of course. If not, just close the trade. Do you see those drops, those pushes down, those little pushes? Someone's on the bids, protecting this range. But then we see a drop, which is good. Small retrace to continue to push down. Is what we're hoping to see. I mean, not hoping, you don't hope in trading, but that's what we're expecting from this trade. But they do push up, back to my entry point. Drop down again. If they drop down from this point and they can't even come close to this previous low, and then they find support in this zone, then they will probably push up through the 50 MA, and then I will just exit my trade. There's a drop that we expected. Now we really need to see them dropping down from this point again. I want to see a very sharp move down. I want to see sellers coming in. Come on. You know, if they just glide like they did here, you can see the result is a move up, because they weren't fast and at dropping the price. They weren't as aggressive. Yeah, you see, the thing that I told you guys would happen is kind of happening. They're stuck at this point of control. Do you see how they're not really dropping? So yeah, if they push up from this point aggressively, I'm just gonna get out. But I still kind of want to hold the trade as well, because we're still below that 50 MA. They're still kind of creating lower highs, lower lows. There's a push, come on. Give me a reason to hold this trade. That's a good reason, thank you. Now give me another reason. Come on, don't push up. That's a reason for me to get out, not to stay in. Come on. I'm just talking with the charts. Not really seeing any bids that I can trade towards. It's point of control. Supporting S&P right now. Price. Small drop. Not that much volume. Not that much strength. Moves up. Loses steam. Drops down again. But then doesn't break previous low. Moves up from this point. Now we are stuck. I mean, not the ideal. Not the ideal price action that you want to see. Just give them one more attempt to drop down from this point. I just need to be flexible. Since I'm using this low size. You know, my exposure is very low, so I can absorb these kind of moves. I can absorb being in a loss from this position. And yeah, there's a move up in the red right now, pushing through the 50 MA. I will wait for the close of this candle just to see if they could maybe drop down again. Daily open previously acted as resistance. Maybe it will act as one again. There's a push, yeah. They're getting aggressive. I'm just gonna get out. Yeah, $50 loss. I mean, you know, that's trading. That's just rereading the flow. Seems like I lost, which is of course okay. That's the part of the game. Just want to see if I could maybe change direction, or maybe they could drop down. Who knows? Yeah, I'll just look for the next opportunity, guys, and keep you posted. Okay, I have just re-entered the trade. Seems like we are dropping down. You can see these 2 wicks. They tried to go up, and now we see a very sharp move down. Managed to catch my short at the 50 MA, which is a very good position, seeing where price is now. So yeah, already recovered the loss that I had, that $50. We're already in those profits. But of course that doesn't matter right now. What matters is me reading the markets, exploiting my edge, and yeah, doing the best I can with this trade and making the most money out of it, or losing the least amount that I possibly can. Still dropping down. This is the move that we wanted to see at this drop, or this one, but now we got it here. So it's going to be a very interesting trade. We can see previously, as we saw in my previous trade, there was a lot of drop, a lot of indecision. $100 profits, still seeing some sellers on Nasdaq. Same with the S&P. 165 bid, I can trade towards that. Let's see what they do. Point of control changes. Very, very important zone. Really want to see them drop down from this point. Moves down. Moves up. Some offers stacking a bit above price on S&P. Come on Nasdaq, give us that move that we want. And then we're out. You see that, how they move up, but they quickly come down. They move up, they quickly come down. You see? I'm just noticing that they're easily moving down, but it kind of takes them a long time to move up. Seeing a battle here, you can see sellers and buyers coming in. Let's see if they drop from this point, then they will sweep those lows. And if they move up from this point, then we will know what happens next. Yeah, there's the move. Just get out. Get me filled. Yeah, just get out. Just horrible range. Not really seeing anything that we want to see. They drop down again. I'm kind of tempted to go long, but I don't want to get stopped out. Do you see? Like that move down that just happened from this point. It's very controlled. You can see how they're moving down. Small retrace up, move down again. Sellers coming in. They're dropping. They're dropping. They want to see lower prices, but they just get stuck at one point, and then you believe it's gonna drop. You want to enter short again? Just look for a reason to get in. $163, but they don't move up. 113. Sorry guys if this is a bit of a longer video, but sometimes these are the sessions that this is what the session can look like, you know. It's not always like I place a trade and then it goes in my favor immediately. I'm just gonna go short, enter 2 contracts, using a bit more size now. I'm sizing up. I just want to see that sweep, and then I will get out. Let's see. Need to absorb a bit of a more of a loss. They sweep up, but then they quickly come back down. I could go short on the S&P as well, but it will just be a quick scalp, just to offset the loss that I have on the Nasdaq. Just fast in, fast out. You can just see the amount of contracts coming in. It's very small, like drops down again, coming into the value area lows for S&P, but you can see the fast move that happens. But then they drop down again. Yeah, we'll get out. I will look for a trade on the S&P. I just can't exploit these moves on Nasdaq. Just take the losses. I'll just come back when I find a good entry point. The idea would be to just go short on the S&P at this extreme zone that we can see they move down from every time. The same would be if they were at the lows. I would look for the longs at these extremes. That's just something that I'm looking for right now. Let's play the trade. Using a bit more size, have a very tight stops, and then you would usually aim for the previous low right here. Okay, here we go. We could be getting that. that play that I want to see. Want to see a confirmation to enter the trade. This is the extreme that I was talking about. Kinda got a bad feel. Kinda entered impulsively, but that's okay. I just want to see this trade go in my favor as quickly as possible. I want to see a very sharp retrace down. Possible trade towards the point of control. That would be my ideal target zone to trade towards. Come on, S&P do our thing. Nasdaq dropping. We can see those confirmations that I'm always talking about. We are seeing them. There's the drop. S&P coming down as well. Not really seeing that much selling, but there's the drop. Good. There's the drop again, and there's the TP. Beautiful trade. Perfect. So yeah, guys, this is the beautiful example of how to adapt to the markets. You know, we just tried to exploit the Nasdaq trade. Didn't really work out. Didn't really see that price action that we want. Every time we thought they would drop down, they moved up. Every time we thought they would move up, they dropped down. And yeah, we changed our strategy a bit. I said, as you guys all know, I'm using a bit more size. I'm gonna trade the extreme of the range. We saw that fast push up. We saw every time they move in one direction very aggressively, they will drop down, or they will move into the opposite direction just as fast. And yeah, we exploited that move. Got a $300 profit on the S&P. Had, I think, $100 loss on the Nasdaq, so that puts us at $200 for today's session. Of course, I'm not done with trading. I always trade. I'm always at the charts, but for this recorded session, I think I'm gonna call it a day, guys. Really hope you guys learned something. I know you did. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.